Welcome to PrepsNet Coach Speak with Tabernacle Christian head basketball coach Matt Grimes. Here's your host, Aubrey Johnson.
Welcome back, Coach.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
All right. So last Tuesday, you traveled to Valley Fellowship. Tell us how that second meeting with them went.
It wasn't too much unlike the first. We actually got up, I think, a 22-2 lead at halftime.
Wow.
So it was a pretty low-scoring game. Second half was actually a little closer. It ended up being a 43-23 for a final.
Okay.
So it was a pretty low-scoring game, especially after the last one with
Right.
Brook Lane. I think those scores were in the 80s. So this one, 43-23, is a lot score. But we got a few things worked on. So it was good to go up. It was a counter game, so gave us another conference win, and we needed one of those, so it was good.
Okay, good deal. Then on Thursday, you lost to Tuscaloosa Home Ed, very tight, 51-50. Tough loss. Tell us about it.
That was it was a good one for us because they're always a competitive team. Whenever we play, it's a competitive game. So
Right.
We went over there. Game really stayed close throughout the whole thing. I'm not sure either team ever got a double-digit lead, and then just came down there towards the end, and just a little bit of a gap there. And we fouled a little bit, put them on the free throw line to get the ball back, and we were able to kind of close it in there. But so finished with a one-point game. Really, it was 4. Aaron hit a 3 at the buzzer, and that's what knocked it down to 1. But again, for us, it's competitive, able to work on some stuff. They did a really good job with their defense, kind of switching it up in the way they were guarding guys. So made us work a little bit, which is good. Again, non-counter game for us, so it gave us some experience to where we can, if another team does the same situation or same type of setup
Right.
with us, we've got a little experience going against it. So.
Right. Well, talking about tight scores, you then played on Friday. You played against Rocket City. You won 58-57 in overtime. Tell us about that one.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
This is an interesting game. So
Yeah.
we played them 4th game of the season or so back, and we were missing Tucker and Jeremy, and they beat us by, I want to say 31 at that time. And so it was one of those, we knew we would be better just from having the other guys back at their
Right.
place. They really beat us with their press, and we knew that would be better this time around as well, having these other guys back. And so it was. We got them out of their press pretty quickly. We actually ended up at halftime up 44-15, and so we were rolling real well in the first half, and then the second half they came out and it was the complete opposite.
Oh, wow.
So we only got 5 points in the third quarter, and the only shot we made in the fourth quarter is actually Tucker hit a buzzer beater to send it into overtime, and so we were able to win it there in overtime, but. Just a complete tale of the two halves, absolutely the complete opposite. So
Right.
It was, it's one of those, if you would have told us beforehand, hey, you guys are going to win in overtime against a team, that beat us by 30 earlier in the season, we would have said, hey, that sounds good.
Sure.
But just the way the first half went compared to the second half, it made it for an interesting night. So.
I bet it did. That's crazy. Tonight you play Cornerstone. You travel to their place, and what do you expect to see from the Eagles?
Well, we played them here during the Torch Classic, so
Right.
they're a region game for us. They're counter games. So the Torch Classic game obviously was not. They were missing one of their guys. We of course were still missing Jeremy at that point, and so we'll both, as far as I know, be at full strength tonight. We will
Right.
be, and so it's a little harder to tell. Also, a Saturday morning of a tournament when you're not. In the championship game, anything like that, it's hard to tell motivation. That was a 10:30
Right.
game, and sometimes they're just hard to get up for. So this one, at their place tonight, it's going to be a little bit different.
Right.
We beat them by a decent margin here, but I expect that to just be a lot closer and a lot more competitive game tonight.
Okay, good deal. So then on Friday, you have Providence coming in. That's a big rival of yours. It's always a big game. Both sides try to do their best. How will you game plan against the Knights?
So we were able to go up there earlier this season to their place. That one, the final score ended up being like 80-37.
Right.
But it wasn't quite that far apart. Again, that was Jeremy's first game back. Eric didn't start that game. And so, we were still trying to get things. It was Jeremy's second game back, his first game starting.
Right.
So we were still trying to get things rolling. We did end up in the third quarter getting the game to a 4-point margin, and then they were able to pull away from there. But, we're going to make it as competitive as we can on Friday night, and we'll try a few things and see if we can maybe come out with a win. But that'll be a counter game for us as well, and so that one will, if we were able to pull off the win, that will affect seeding for us. I don't think it'll change anything for them,
Right.
but it will help us as far as our seeding goes. So
Okay, good deal. Finally, next Monday, you have Master's Hand. You're traveling to them. Interestingly, they are based in Decatur, but you play in Moulton. So that's where you're traveling to.
Yep.
What do you expect to see from them?
this is the best team I think maybe they've had since we've been playing them over the last 12 years or so.
Right.
So I give them a lot of credit. They were kind of down over the last few years, and they've been building it up to where this year they actually came in. They're the ones who actually won our Torch Classic.
Gotcha.
So it's they've got a really solid team. So we'll go up there, and it'll be a close one. Hopefully, I don't expect we'll be able to pull away from them. Hopefully, they won't from us either. So hopefully, it'll be just one of those close, really good basketball games. They've got one really good player, and they've got some other guys to go with them as well. So it should be a solid game.
All right, fantastic. So, Coach, that's our show. We appreciate your time, and as always, we appreciate yours. Join us again next week for another Tabernacle version of Coach Speak.